So, sorry. So, Carrie, anything to report from the executive?
Only a couple of things. There's many things that are going to be forward. Second thing I can tell you about that I've already been announced on both the 11th Facebook page and the IPMS Canada page. Is that the latest dental sheet sent out last month or the month before, available for purchase. How it works is that when we order the dental sheet, we have to order the yeah. Level 750. So we have extra decal sheets for IPMS Canada members. The decal sheets are $5 plus postage, which I believe is $3. For non-members, it's $10 plus postage.
And I should point out on the link I set, the webmaster put the wrong description. It says an IPMS lapel pin. I haven't had time to email it back yet.
Yeah.
But it is the detail.
All right, so it is the decals that are available. And I think this is one of the more popular sheets that we've done in a while. Got a wide variety of things that people might be interested in. So if you're interested, take a look at the IPMS London Facebook page or IPMS Canada's Facebook page, and you'll see it. You have to go to the website for purchase the IPMS Canada website. All right. Or you could just become a member, if you're not already a member, and then be in line for the next decal sheet, which will be down the road.
So next we have show update. So our illustrious show president is here.
Where?
You, Mr. Frog Tape. Any show updates to share?
Not from the previous show, but we're still flogging the idea of potentially doing it again this coming fall.
Okay, well,
And we won't know that till January meeting. And we'll be looking for somebody to usurp my authority as show president. Keeping in mind, we have a core group that are well versed, that will assist and be glad to jump in as somebody fit. But we would like to infuse the committee with some new blood. I knew nothing about what to do when I started. But it turned out okay, all things. In spite of my best effort, it turned out okay. But 5 people, 6 people can't do a show and not be burnt out. We had 5 or 6 TOCs from specific groups, and under them some lieutenants assist in doing some of the tasks. That would be great. We've got a lot of good ideas coming in. We have a list, which I have to add some of my ideas to. We did it. I think we could do okay, maybe better. So you've got between now and our January meeting. Think about it.
so just so you know, I have a meeting on Saturday with IPMS Ottawa. That's the discussion. Is we normally alternate years with IPMS Ottawa, and their draw was not as vigorous as they had anticipated from previous years. And you know, there's a lot of shows in that September to October. There's 5 shows going on, excluding the ones in the States. So I'm talking to Glenn to see. I think Ottawa's going to ask us if we can run it because they hold it in the War Museum. And the War Museum is a very unique client to deal with. They make a lot of money off the show, so they may be interested, but they're definitely, I don't know, the Mariah Carey of model venues, I guess. It's very diva-esque to deal with them. Lots of rules and lots of time is needed. So, and we're dealing with the federal government, so to be expected. So I'm going to talk to Glenn on Saturday. They may ask us to do that if we can run it next year. If he does, I'll be asking him for some help, at least on show day. If we can, I know Glenn would show up. We could get 1 or 2 of them to help, like with judging and stuff, just to get some support. But then we're not drawing away from each other. So that's just something we're looking at. I think other than that, thanks, Bill. We got the numbers back from the show. Roughly. What's that?
More or less.
More or less. Do you want to talk about it, Bill, or you want me to just read the email you sent?
Oh, you can read the email, but what it boils down to is that in the account at the moment, in the show account at the moment, we have $6,207 and 13 cents. So the question becomes, how much do we want to keep as a war chest for the next show? And how much do we want to transfer over into the general account for the things that we do on a more day-to-day basis and for the members specifically?
Yeah, so as the executive, some of the discussions we've had are as follows. The initial float we had was just shy of 4,000. Looking at prices nowadays, we'd like to keep at least that much in the float for another show. If we do one next year, it'll be a little cheaper than if we do it in 2 years. So we just want to keep that in mind. The whole point of the show is it pays for itself. It renews our kitty. And then there's a side benefit of we get a little extra. Like I know in previous years, there's been golf shirts or t-shirts and things like that, lapel pins or not decal sheets, but lapel pins, things like that. What we looked at and what we're bringing forward to the membership, and we're going to probably ask for a decision in December. But what we talked about was leaving the fund at around the $5,000 mark in the cash for the show. That'll get us rolling. And then we talked about moving our venue from here to Fanshawe for the lighting. The reason we went, the costs were similar until we found out about insurance. I got a deal on the insurance. The insurance company that provides this in the province for events would only charge us $300 for a year's worth of meetings at Fanshawe, as opposed to $70 to $80 per meeting if I was doing it on an ad hoc basis per meeting. So if we just went and paid for 1 year's worth of insurance for one meeting a month, it's $300. And we talked about the profits from the show paying that insurance premium. And then our membership dues should stay relatively static from the last couple of years, which has been about 30, 35 bucks a year. Yeah, 35. So, your membership dues won't increase. We'll have a larger venue. Everyone liked the lighting in there. The nice thing is, because it'll be legit bookings as opposed to what I did over the summer, we can upscale or downscale our meeting location without issue. So if we have more people showing up, we can get a bigger room. That's not issue, smaller room, stuff like that. Again, all the other benefits, the lighting, the parking, facility location. Yeah.
One bus there.
Yeah, exactly. We did mention.
Go right up bus.
Yeah. And transit, and half the construction will be done by November, and then half of what they're doing now, they're ripping up that caused our issue during the show for the geothermal pump they're building. That should be done by January, and it won't actually impact where we usually meet, which is at the far end of the campus anyway. So that's something we're looking at. The members we're going to ask in December. I'm going to get some quotes. The insurance company will not provide a quote unless we're within, I believe it's 45 to 60 days tops of when we want to use their insurance. So I can't ask them, but I did do a, give me a rough quote. She was really nice. She's like, yep, no problem. This is about what it is, $300. So, but they won't give us a firm quote till we're closer to the end of the year for that. The college really appreciated us as a tenant. The legit bookings we had, they were really happy. The show, they had never done something like that with an outside group. They were ecstatic how we left the location when we were done. They were very pleased. They're hoping we come back. I think we will. The only issue I told them we really had, parking obviously will be remedied, but was the heat in the place. We did sweatbox it a little bit. There was a little bit of, Lone Wolf McQuaid going on in there, or what's his name there, Cool Hand Luke action going on. But the HVAC system can be adjusted to decrease temperature throughout the day. So they said next time we'll just start making it cooler every hour. So it'll be a lot more comfortable. And before, Adam says anything, we'll get that stupid door alarm not working. Yeah, that was annoying.
Yeah.
Yeah, they do. So anyway, that's something for the membership to think about. What we'd like to do with the money is, we're looking at, $300 roughly to be used towards the insurance. And then for the remainder that we had left over, we talked about, we're looking at name tags, T-shirts, lapel pins. If we do T-shirts, I got a contact. If those of you who had the IPMS London T-shirts that we use for volunteers, I think they came out pretty good. So, I mean, I can go and see him for something a little more fancy schmancy. I'm sure he'll cut me a deal. So, just something for the membership to think about. We'll want to know if we want to do something.
There's
You're,
a lot of new members, a lot since COVID. Name tag.
thank you, Greg. So, sorry. Oh, sorry, Geofa.
Yeah, see, this
So-
is why you need these.
Like so as Geofa says, yeah. So just think about that, and we can deal with that next meeting. We'll bring that up then. That's the show report. So the big thing in December will be, I'll have spoken to Ottawa. I want to see what we want to do between them, because we've always complimented each other in off years. We don't draw from each other. And there was a decrease in attendance as the year, everyone was really excited. Heritage Con was huge. Torcan was a good size, but come September, October, people were kind of picking and choosing where they were traveling to. So it has an impact on what the show does. So we'll keep that in mind. And we don't want to be a show club, right? That's not our point. We can't run a show every year like that. And yeah, and again, if you want a show, you need to step up, because the 5 of us who did this, there was a lot, and like I'm already busier now than I was, so I won't be able to do what I was doing last time anymore. So yeah, keep that in mind. Okay. But thanks for those who volunteered again and showed up and helped out. It was great. I've never done it before. It was a great experience. So I am looking forward to another one. All right. So that's show
You want
business.
to talk about the one guy?
Do I want to talk about the one guy? What do you think,
No.
Carrie? Should I bring up our buddy? Yeah. Okay, so basically, we had a contestant who was entering models made by youth, and they were made by him. So that individual was caught out, well known in the GTA. IPMS Ottawa reached out to me. Fortunately, our high precision access team, which sounds like it was my daughter and Lee, because my daughter is like, she saw the email, Carrie, and she's like, hey, I remember this guy, Dad, he was sus. And I'm like, what? He was suspect. She goes, I didn't trust him. Yeah. So he actually didn't get in the show. I did research. I could see every show over the last few years, enter kits for the children, win for somebody, I don't know who, himself, because he'd always show off the medals in himself. And then that was it. So, Glenn Colley did a lot of research. It'll come out in IPMS. This individual did not make it past our gatekeepers. I think it was a little bit my confrontation with him at the beginning, because I bitched him out, because this guy showed up early and he was wandering around the site. And I'm like, get out. Can I wait here? No, get out. Like, it was one of those, right? Yeah, you remember? I was yelling at that guy, get out. So they used the guy, and then showed up, and my daughter's like, no, you can't do that, which is awesome, because she's not confrontational, but man, she gave him shit. And then, she deferred it to Lee, and Lee's like, I don't remember. And I think our wives pretty much bullied him out, because there were no pictures from our show. And we checked our entries, and the names he uses were not there. So, anyway, you know what? A little bit of fun, right? So, but he's been doing this since 07. Yeah, that's yeah. Well, he's banned from Ottawa. I don't know, but I think BuffCon and SeerCon were mentioned, which is the one in Syracuse. And he was but the guys in Toronto, from some of the shows they have there, they saw him. And also, this individual would take pictures of every single Russian identified model and take a picture flipping at the bird. So the other issue there becomes, Exactly. The other thing IPMS Ottawa said was, right, in the spirit of the sportsmanship of this hobby, once, even just for that alone, we'd kick you out. So even without the other stuff. So there's just a bit of that going on. That was our biggest controversy outside of the heat and the guy peeing on the floor. That was it for the show. And if you want to know about that one, ask Bill. I'm not interested. We're gonna look at our desk work because I want to give Ron the time he deserves, because when he did his 3D printing, we were a little rushed. But yeah, pizza night. Do we want to do pizza night next month or in January?
A lot of people, last year we found, first, but I think we had a snowstorm, but also week, before Christmas, so it's a bit awkward for a lot of people during party month. So we want to push pizza night over to January. Keep it like. One person on topic. Can you put the lights on the table?
Oh, we will.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Dues payment.
January, all in favor, aye, perfect,
Done.
good. Duncan, can you do what we asked from you, September, December or January? Thank you. Perfect. So we got December set up now.
Excellent.
Dues are January also.
January to March.
Yeah.
So far.
Well, if it will not be going up, and if the membership is good with our going with Fanshawe and the insurance, then, you know, more than likely that's where our meetings will be for next year.
Sorry. Or I'll touch base with you, if you send me an email, or give me your email address.
Yeah,
Yeah, I figured that was, you're the guy that Steve was talking.
we have the website, right?
I'll talk to you, when we have social time, I'll get your email, I'll send you the email which does all the.
Thanks.
Yeah, you're going to Fan. You know, unless you hear, if you don't hear otherwise, you're going to Fan.
Yeah.
Where I'm going.
Yeah, and the room will change. That's the nature of the college. The room will change from time to time. I try to keep it in the same building, but it does have to change depending upon, it shouldn't change more than once every 4 months. We'll keep the same room for 4 months, and then the following semester, it's a different room, just because that's how the college goes. And if we do a show again next year, we as the executive feel that facility worked out, price, what they provided us, the ease. I think Ed Kubiak's on the line. I think he agrees that for a vendor, it was pretty good access. We've taken their information as far as any critiques, which is getting them, you know, point of purchase stuff. But other than that, you know, all the feedback was positive. So next, Stuart's got something he wants to bring up.
Something I've been very tardy with. So I came to Canada when I was out, they sent me down this package along with our charter. I'll just read it. Recently, IPMS Canada came into possession of a good number of decal sheets. The decals were kindly donated by Jim Craig. Am I pronouncing that right? Anyone? Okay. The decals are for a 172nd RCAF CC 137 transport aerial tanker aircraft, as released by ProScale, a Canadian model company. ProScale used the Heller Boeing 707-300, is in 172nd, parts and produced decals in the instructions specifically for the CC-137. The ProScale kit is rare as hen's teeth today, but as mentioned, the parts are from Heller, so the decals will also fit their 707. This was the designation for the Boeing 707-300 series that was in military service with the RCAF from the 70s until the late 90s. Enclosed, you'll find some sets of 2 decal sheets. The chapter is welcome to use them. Now, I know Mike is our odd aircraft guy, so I've already taken the liberty of giving him one, but if anyone else wants the set, I've got 2. Okay, we're gonna have to have a draw then. Okay, 70 seconds.
Read the last part.
It is strongly recommend, oh yeah, the decals are old, have been in storage for some time. This needs to be taken into consideration. It is strongly recommended that a clear coat be applied to the decals prior to applying the decals, as the carrier for these decals is very thin. So do we still have two 2 or 3 people in? 1, 2, anyone else? No, I got 2 sets. So that nicely. fits. So 1 for. 2 for David. You guys want a copy of the memo? My apologies, guys, I just kept getting this. Kept getting this. But thank you to that.
Thanks, Stuart. If that's it, unless someone's got some business to bring up, they want to discuss. Yeah. That's the Quinty Air Show, right? Yeah. Yeah, right on. I've seen some postings for it. I did see that, yeah. That'll be worth going. We'll repost it on our Facebook page. All right, great, thanks. Yeah.
The food quality of the food service.
Oh, hell yeah.
They have
They'll try. They'll be better prepared for that. They tried to. The problem is that the facilities is the college. The food services is actually by the Fanshawe Student Union, and I guess communication isn't always the best. So I did mention that to them. I said, and if you can't create an improvement, we'll definitely make sure that we start pushing people over to the other side. I could have had I could have had it catered, right? And technically, based on the cost, we still would have had a profit, which is funny. But I just didn't feel like feeding a few hundred people, right? I didn't think that was, and trying to figure out money. Yeah, it's not our business. No, can't have food trucks. And the school has hot dog vendors, little things, but those were doing something else, right? So we couldn't get those either. But no, I did mention to them that I actually re-mentioned it to them 2 days ago when I had their puts in and it was shit. So, you know, I did mention, I said, hey, you give money back for crappy food? And they're like, no. Okay. So I let them know. Well, it was crap, you know. Said it's fries, gravy, and cheese. What happened to the gravy? Is it a premium? So sorry. I was blunt. Yeah.
Won't do a barbecue?
Can't.
No.
No. No, everything is strictly controlled like you would expect from any government agency, right? The college is no different. It's good in some respects, but in those things, it's still a giant bureaucratic cluster F, right? So if you guys knew what my challenges were booking the location and what I had to go through, like, yeah, yeah. What's that? Well, you can bring your own food on, but we can't be giving it out like that because listen, I even was worried they were going to get us for a friggin' lottery license requirement because we had the raffle table. Because that's why Torcan didn't have a raffle. Whatever city we were in, requires a permit, right? Because a raffle table is gambling. So I was worried the college was going to say, wah, wah, wah. So I downplayed it, right? And no, because they were there multiple times during the day. And I still work there, thankfully. I still work there and I'm very well compensated and I want to keep it going that way. Because I'm old, fat, and lazy, and I like my job. So, you know, my daughter's going to college for 3 years for free. So I don't want to mess that up. He's got a longer wait than me, but he knows the rewards of the job too, right? Nothing like 20. Yep. So we are adopting. If anyone's open to that, it'll cost you. Actually, I would, because I could learn more about no, it would be awesome. We like all the same shows. It's perfect. You're in, Dave. I'll get you a spot.
Start calling him Dad.
Yeah, I'll call him Blap. He calls me Daddy. People are just gonna go, that got weird quick. Anything else, guys?
Can you grandparent?
No. Okay, we're gonna do the table. Yeah, we are gonna start with Mike, but we have a picture to show. Is Mike on there? Oh, it's our mic here. Sorry. Sorry, Mike. I don't think it's shut up. You can do it. Go ahead, sir.
just to be on the lazy side and to point out, as I often mention, I'm the Daft Canuck, and there's 4 vacuum forms, 148 Cambrias that I'm working on. If you remember the other month, I had one in where I had to cut the wing off and reposition it. So far, I'm up to 5 outer wing panels that I've had to cut off of the 8 to repair. Yeah. You don't need to say anymore, do you? So they're coming along. And I honestly can't remember if I ever mentioned that I have an Airfix 148 lurking in the background that I'm using as a pattern to fix those up. So I have 5 in total. Pardon me? Yeah.
We did notice there's a trend in repetition in our table and in our hobby recently. Do the same and then. Yep. Oh, no, which other, oh, that's right.
He didn't want me to talk about them. As I did a couple of months ago, I brought in a couple of hawkers to visually demonstrate the difference in the evolution of engine power through the war. And well, at least on my left-hand side, I have my recently finished little Marlette of about 1,000 horsepower, and to its left is the Hellcat with about 2,000 horsepower. You're going from 450 cals to 650 cals, and I can't remember what the weight difference is. But there we are. Out of the box, that Japanese name that I can't pronounce properly, just starts with an H. Yeah. Either or works for me.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's out of the box build with old Humber pens that Jeff passed along to me the other month. Yep, they work quite well. And my first, I wouldn't say complete attempt, but working with water pencils, I think I'm slowly getting better at it. I'm going to carry on trying and see if I can improve. I don't know if you can see it in this light, but the cowling is nicely dirtied up. A little bit of exhaust smoke, but the rest of the airplane's left pretty clean. Old school chipping here and there. And there must be a couple of guys there. Very off the Neverland. But I flattened the tires, but I wasn't too sure how flat they would be on a carrier-based aircraft. I would assume they're pretty high pressure. So just a little, not noticeable, good, but it didn't go very far. Just doesn't knock the aspect of it look like it's on its tippy toes off. Okay, thank you. Me done. I'm Marlette.
Oh, okay. So, I was drinking heavily and I decided to make French tanks. Because I like to build tanks that go in reverse. I did 2. This is the second one I did. They're both Bronco models. I got them at our show. I made a deal with, I kind of argued. I don't know why I was so belligerent. It must have been that fellow that we kicked out there, but I was like, hey, one's $50, one's $25. What's going on here? You can have them both for 25. Thank you very much. So $25. It's an old Bronco kit. So if you build armor and you know Bronco, old Bronco, I don't think I need to say anything else. The fit it always needs a bit of work, lots of seam lines. So this kit here, this is a French Hotchkiss H39. It's an abysmally poor tank. Witnessed the German success of 1940. But the Germans captured 1,500 of these, plus the entire factories. So they just started, making all the parts. They were basically partitioned out to police units, a lot in Yugoslavia, places like that. So the cops had tanks. This is a 21st Panzer Division. That's Rommel's old unit. When they came to France, they got these. And they basically have the German rockets, the Moaning Mini type rockets, if you recall. I didn't realize the 32 centimeter ones were napalm. So that's a higher pucker factor, I think, when you're getting shelled by them. But great use of an obsolete platform by getting something heavy where you need it to be. Nice kit. I just did it in a tricolor camo and tried a few new things on it. Like everyone, the AK pencils, same as I'm getting good at them. I do layer them more. They go on pretty opaque. So go back afterwards, add another layer and build it up to where you want to be. And regardless, you can still feather it down and stuff like that. So I did that with that one. And then the base, I wasn't sure what to do, so I painted that up in a few minutes. And then the other one is another Hotchkiss H39. This is the classic one. It's got the unditching tail on the back. It's all out of the box except for my Tucker bits. That's what I call the stuff Ron's printed for me. So I got some Tucker bits on there. Me and Cam are big fans. Yeah, all rights reserved, Cutter Tucker Enterprises. Same thing. So this is a French one from about 1940. Same thing. I did it in the classic. Actually, I posted a picture of one in a museum that I used. So I coated this with an Africa core enamel coloring to give it a dusty look. I think it came out really well. This needed quite a lot of work. And then again, the bases, I did them both in about 10 minutes one morning. I just said, I need something to look better than what George brings in. So I came up. And they're reusable. I did the French flag because then every French tank can go on there. And the same thing with the Balkenkreuz. I won't get edited, right? I won't be canceled on the internet. It's safe enough that I can use that. So, and I'm doing another French tank in R35. Thank you, Ed. And then I'm done for life, I think. So it's good. But they're beautiful kits and they came out well and I'm pretty proud of them. So what do we got up next? Ron's next. Oh,
Yeah, that is a 3D printed female Necron locust destroyer. I managed to get that out without spitting. But anyway, I painted that up with again Citadel colors and had a lot of fun with doing the metallics, and the green glow on there was really hard to get, and I finally found out that you should put it over a gloss white paint instead of flat, because the flat makes it turn kind of blotchy looking. So if you ever use that fluorescent stuff, put it over a white base and it will come out half decent. And that's about it for that.
Ron spent an entire morning with me online painting her, painting her parts. Yeah, we had fun with that. Next is, go, Gord.
Gord out.
All right, the one in the reddish primer, that's a 1950 Chevy pickup. This was the street machine series. What's been done so far is wipers been molded, shaved off, all three vents shaved off, door handle shaved, the hood, trim, shaved, the headlights and grill de-chromed. So 5-window cab turned into a 3-window cab. That's why it's got the stock plastic one beside it. The gas door filled. The 3-piece how you glue in for the cab, molded in. The box, the fender extensions, molded into the roll pan. The tailgate lactis from when it should be on from the stock kit and shaved off. Trying to figure out how to do the patina look, not rusted out, just patina.
Okay, what do we got next? Oh, perfect. My adopted son.
My turn? Okay, this is the Nito Nut Rocker, it's called, which it turns out this is from the 1980s. And it was actually a lost in translation. It should be the Nutcracker, because the little mech suits from this series of SF3D, this thing is designed to destroy those, but so it's kind of a funny name, Nut Rocker. It's from the early 80s, SF3D, like I said. So I did this, it's been in my collection for a few years, and I thought I would try doing some weathering effects. I've pretty much mastered gloss finishes, so I thought, let's make something really dirty. I got a couple of things I'm working on that I want to do like that. So anybody here who builds armor might know the guy on YouTube that calls himself Night Shift. And so I watched it. What's that? Yeah. And so I was watching him. I watched a ton of his videos of him doing this stuff. And so I just followed his process. It's like about a 10 or 12-step process. I primed it black. I did sort of a model effect of the 2 base colors. Then you lighten the base colors and do some post shading. And then after that, you come in and you do like a pin wash, and then you clean up the enamel pin wash with, enamel thinners. and then I sealed that, and then I did all the paint chips on there. Oh, and also what I did was after that, I took the lightning color and then I thinned it a whole bunch with like a clear gloss, and then I slightly dusted the decals, so sort of made them look a little bit faded. And then I came in with the pin wash and I cleaned that up with enamel thinners. And then I sealed that and I did all my paint chipping with to me acrylics. So there's a light color acrylic on there, and then there's a dark color acrylic on top of that. And then you come in on top of there and you use like a rust wash, but I had it pretty thick. And you put the rust on there, then you come back after, excuse me, that dries, and you use more enamel thinners and you sort of blend all the rust in. And then I put a flat coat on that, and that's where it is right now. I'm still gonna come in and I'm gonna do a dust coat on there, and then I'll seal the dust coat, and then uh I'll do some oil stains and some oil runs around some of the mechanical stuff on the back and the side and that. And then that'll be done, and you can see some of the extra parts are sitting there. The antenna for that, I added some mesh to it. I had some little photo etched or little turned brass antenna pieces for some kind of a German night fighter or something. So I used some pieces out of that. The gun barrel I replaced with, I think it was a 30 cal and 72nd scale. And the base is laser cut. I did that at work. And so I'll peel all those hexes off of there and I'll paint that up and I'll weather it and I'll put some dirt on one side of it and stuff. And I've got a piece of rod, not rod, a piece of tubing installed in the bottom of the tank. So I'll mount it on a clear acrylic rod and it'll look like it's sitting maybe a half centimeter off the base. So it's actually hovering. So it's a fun process. You feel like you're going to lose your mind after about an hour and a half or 2 hours of putting tiny little paint chips and stuff on the model. But when you finally get done and you come back the next morning and you're not cross-eyed anymore, it actually looks pretty good. So just, trust the process and keep going. And I'm pretty happy with it. So now I can move on and do some other stuff I want to do with the same method.
Thanks, Dave. Next. Stuka. All right, who is it? Tell us a story.
Evening there, guys. If memory serves, I believe this was an Airfix kit. Stuka junk or whatever you want to call it. So I went together well, had some problems in the move. So things aren't as they should be. I'm missing an what would you call it? An aileron? Yeah. Aileron. Yeah. Been trying to figure out, if there's a 3D print, fix to that, or if I have to buy another kit or build it from scratch out of, something else. So it's seen better days, but I'm still happy with it. It lives on a diorama with my German Stug, with other things in the works to add to it as well. Oh, that one's mine.
Oh, that was your two.
Yeah, Dornier Arrow, DO 355 something or other. Monogram kit. Again, didn't survive the move. I had a second kit of the same plane, but it comes with an option of having a second cockpit behind that one, that you could build as well. So I had to sacrifice that one to fix this one, because like I say, it didn't survive the move. But, and, I wasn't thrilled, a definite lack of detail in engine compartments compared to other planes. But, still, it looks good on my Remembrance Day diorama. So.
Right next. That's you again.
And I apologize for this one. I'm not a big diecast fan, but I feel completely ripped off that they did not make a plastic kit of my Mini-Me,
Revel made a plastic kit of the 2013 Boss 302, but not the 2012. And, you know, one of the reasons I've never been a fan of the die cast, you know, again, a lack of detail. I had to paint all sorts of parts of the interior and the engine bay to try and get it to match my car. You know, and you know, it's about time to put both of them away for the winter, so I figured I'd show it off once more.
Next.
All right, and then I have that one to show.
Okay.
Okay, that's Mackie 202 from Tauro Models. So if you know that, it's a piece of paint. It was started by Duncan, here our friend, and he quit because he got the Hasegawa one. And so I said, okay, fine, I'll take it. And then he had put together the wings. He had this, the interior, the cockpit is all scratch built by Duncan. He put together the wings, the fuselage. He primed everything, was repaneling, and then he gave up. Yeah, until the end of days. So I finished it. I used the scheme from the in action from Squadron, and it has two pictures of the plane. This one flew was one of the early 202s. It flew a mission over Malta, was damaged. And then this is what it represents, and that's why it has the primed or light gray bands on the wing roots, and it has some blotches of aluminum on the side of the fuselage. And what else? And the decal on the tail, which is a Squadron one, that I printed that one because it's not in the decal sheet from Tauro. And the numbers on the fuselage, they were out of register. So I tried to trim the white as much as I could, but it's not perfect. But second life for Duncan's plane. And then the other one I have here, sorry, the guy is online, but this is a picture that was, yes, of course. Okay, so this is the commemoration, the picture that was given by who made it? CFA come on. McDonnell Douglas. Yes, McDonnell Douglas made these ones for a Canadian team that participated in William Tell in '94. So those who know the story about William Tell in '94, the Canadian team won 6 out of the 8 trophies. And the only ones that Canada didn't win were best maintenance and paint team of the plane, something like that. All the ones that were operational, dogfight, precision, accuracy, bombing, all those were won by Canada.
So
And
it would be.
no, yes, of course. Yes, it's Canada. It needs to be humble. Sorry. But the important thing is that this guy here in the main plane is called Steve Nearly. And Steve is the brother of a friend of mine from war. And he is the one who won the Top Gun in William Tell. And he has the record. He holds the record. He shot down 4 bogies in 5 minutes. So he gave me this one, and it's signed by Steve. And now I'm going to be building Steve his plane. And I'm also going to be building one for me because Leading Edge came out with a decal sheet from CF18. And one of those is 777, which was Steve's plane in William Tell. The only other thing I want to bring you to our attention, for me was interesting, if you look at the top camo on the plane, it's blotches of 2 different grades. So normally what you see with the CF-18s is totally flat, darker gray. And at the beginning I thought it was clouds or something like that, but then I started to pay attention. All the other ones had the blotches in the same spot. So actually it was a special camo or something like that that the CF-18 has for William Tell. That's all.
You have a truck? Of course. Well, I knew it was you. As soon as I saw it, I was like, it's gotta be.
Thank you. Yeah, after a career of sitting in them, you kind of, you can never get rid of it. So this is the AMT cab over Freightliner kit. And I have half a dozen of them. But I really wanted to build a double bunk, which they do not build. So this one comes in a 3-piece cab. And it's always been a problem with the seam, which runs right behind the tail end of the horns. So there's a face, a back, and then a back panel as well. And you watch YouTube programs and it's all about, do you fill the seam? Don't you fill the seam? I wanted to fill the seam, so I did. And then the roof is all full of rivets. So if you use G-scale model railroad rivets, you can lay them right on, comes out the same size. So you just use your putty on the roof, smooth it up, put new rivets on, prime it, and away you go. So the back end of the cab from that particular unit is going on a double bunk that it's in the works at home right now. So that's why that guy got no sleeper. So it was kind of fun. And I didn't know what to do for colors, so I two-toned it. Painting the tanks was something that I've just started to really work on because they always have a black band underneath the chrome strap. So spent a little bit of time doing that. And I took it to Detroit. I went down to Detroit on Sunday for their big Detroit area auto modelers show that they do down in Warren, Michigan. And that's from the IPMS guys down there. So yeah, it was just fun. They do lots of trucks down there, and it was all automotive. So Michigan Centipede trailers, and it was as soon as you go in the door for your admission, AMT was right there with all their new releases, and it was pretty good. So the first aisle, and it's a huge facility, the first aisle was really good, you know, resin cabs, all kinds of interesting things. And the last aisle was really good too. It would have been right up your alley, Frank, all kinds of armor, and it was good. But lots of stuff, very, I don't know, flea market is not the right word, but a lot of, yeah, a lot of stuff. $5 to get in, that was it. And big facility. So in and out, but yeah, it was good. NASCAR theme. So I had my NASCAR pickup truck, which I've showed you before. Took that so it fit right in. And, yeah, it was just fun. So, yeah. Yeah.
You do your jazz, baby.
Okay, this is the first of two ME 262s. This is the one in the photo right there. That is a Airfix kit. It's a 262 2A. The research behind this was actually as much fun as building the things. The 262, which I'm sure everybody is aware of, was like the first operational jet fighter, state of the art. It was a dangerous bird to fly. Adolf Hitler and Goring were determined to turn it into a vengeance weapon against the Allies as retribution against their bombing campaigns against German cities. So they wanted the 262 built and utilized as a bomber. That's what the 2A is. It has a rack in the front for 2 bombs. Because of the weight differential, they had to remove 2 of the cannons in the nose. So I puttied those in and sanded and painted over the two center ones, which are now gone. The story goes that although Adolf wanted this as a bomber, the rest of the leaders of the Luftwaffe, the legendary aces of the time, they felt that was wrong, that they needed to shoot down the bombers that were bombing the cities, not bomb the cities that sent the bombers. So the Luftwaffe felt it was far more important to save German lives by using this 262 superior performance to shoot down bombers. Hitler disagreed. Goring disagreed. They asked for the Luftwaffe asked for Goring to resign. He wanted them all executed, but Hitler thought that would be a really bad idea to execute 5 of the legendary aces of the Luftwaffe. So he gave the leader, Adolf Galland, his own squadron and said, go, put 262 jets in there and see what you can do against bombers. The second plane is the 262 1A. This was the fighter version. This particular unit is a Red 13, flown by Oscar Barr. He was an ace with just over 200 kills. 16 of them were against bombers in the 262. This 13 Red, according to what I read, was the plane he flew when he shot down his first fighter, a Mustang in 44. That kit is a Academy kit that I picked up at the swap meet here. Other than that, they're both out of the box builds. The 2A, the bomber version, that's done old school. Green paint and then a little sponge. And I sponge painted the camouflage on just with a sponge, and then painted it up a little bit with some of the original green. Did plastic sprue for wiring, weathered with some oils. I went pretty light on the weathering, figuring these planes weren't around a long time, given the state of Germany at the time. The second 262, I just used paper masks for the wing camouflage, and the upper fuselage camouflage is done freehand with an airbrush. The plane was apparently difficult to fly. It had 3 gas tanks of kerosene, 1 under the driver's seat, 1 in front of the pilot, and 1 behind the pilot. So he was basically flying a bomb the entire time. The inferior metallurgy at the time, due to resources, the fan blades of the 262 were fragile, overheat, and could overheat very easily with throttle adjustments, would cool and crack. So the next guy who took one up was running the risk of the blades shattering during takeoff. So it was not a friendly plane to fly. Other than that, I just used oils to lightly weather them. Used some fine wire for brake lines underneath, and they're all pretty much Vallejo air model paints. There is
Yeah, I saw videos of it too online. There's a lot. Well, there's some videos this summer that showed up. A lot of guys were reposting. So take a look. On Gundam stuff.
Oh, thank you. It's a Gundam. It's part of my ongoing effort to finish all my shelf queens. So probably started about 20 years ago when it came out and finally wrapped it up. So I'm not cracking into any new boxes, just finishing those kind of projects. So I think it turned out pretty well. I'm quite happy with it. I got to do a few different things I haven't done before, like do the kind of a glow on the beam weapon. And I kept it pretty clean. I'm finding these days with smaller scale models is not worth the effort to do a lot of post and pre-shading. So I'm kind of going more it just doesn't show up. I think it doesn't catch people's eye. So I tried to keep it a bit more clean. Is a prototype, didn't last very long. So that's another reason it would be not dirty or weathered or anything like that. Yeah, so it was just basically painted. I did a little bit of pre-shading. And like I mentioned, I'm getting away with it on future small scale builds. And I think I did the panel lines with the oils and tried to keep it kind of a semi-gloss. And I like to tinker with the little bits and bobs. And so I added details like hydraulics and just change out hoses, crisp up different things, change the hands to be more detailed, that type of thing. Because it was kind of a fiddly model, I added a lot of magnets. I can just pull it apart and put it in its storage box. And I'm loving magnets these days. And everyone's broken off antennas and whatnot. And so much of that has really kind of led me to just try to, if I can, attach things with magnets, if I can hide them in there, and then everything comes apart easily for storage or transportation or whatever, right? Even just detail like finishing the painting and whatnot, you've got something to hang on to, and then it just clicks on. So the shield is on a magnet, the bazooka folded up is on a magnet. Yeah, I'm thinking I'm gonna do that for a whole bunch of stuff. I saw a guy actually do all magnets for the ordnance on his 48 scale aircraft, and that really stuck with me. That's great because that's, you know, the first thing that gets busted off when you're trying to take your plane to a show. But yeah, so another shelf queen done. I'm in a single digits now from about 15. I think I got 8 left. It is, yeah. So it's literally about 20 years ago. So it was a great kit. It's Bondi, and but at that time they still, I think now they hide all their seams. There's still some basic seam work to take care of, but you know, it got put away after moving or something like that, and you know, stayed dormant while the kids were small, and then made its way to the top of the shelf and had a ton of work. All my shelf queens have a ton of work, so I figure it's just smarter to stick with those, and then I'll reward myself with the new boxes. Oh, yeah. Quit or grit. Yeah. Yeah. I did sort through my projects. And I looked at a lot of them and I thought, this kit's just a pile of garbage. It's from 1985. Like it'll take so much effort to finish it. I'll be an old and gray by the time I do anything to make it look good. Or I look at stuff and that I'd started 20 years ago and thought, who's this guy? Did all this mess straight into the bin. But a bunch of them were like, you know what? The work is okay. The kit is buildable. They stay. And I ended up with about 15 or so on that. And then, you know, you kind of open the box back up and all the work is done. So, but boy, oh boy, I really want to get into that Tomcat. And Larry recommended to me the model art book that just came out about the Tomcat. It's on the table for you to have a look at. It's really cool, and it really shows you what things should look like when you want to see how they weather or details, that kind of thing. So yeah, I brought that in for everyone to take a look at and thumb through it. Thanks.
The Mecha Gorilla. That's, yeah, Mecha column. With the samurai head.
I actually forgot that I owned this and finished it. And this has asked me to start cleaning out the basement, and I ran across it and I thought, well, I think I'll bring it in. This kit is from a long defunct company called Roto Kyoto. It's since just been changed to Kyoto, but they started doing different things. It's the only kit in existence of this particular subject model in 30 centimeter scale. It's the first vinyl kit that I ever put together with a metallic finish. This is duplicolor aluminum with no primer on the plastic at all. And any of the shading I did with a pencil that's on that. So this comes from the movie 1967 King Kong Escapes. If you haven't seen it, I recommend it. It's a good fun watch. The grenade belt that he's wearing is probably some of the most difficult assembly work I've ever had to do on a model. It's really delicate, but it was really fun. I'm glad I still have it.
Great. Thank you. All right, we'll take we're gonna do about a 10-minute bio break. What's that? Oh, the Sherman books. Yeah, just real quick. You want to talk about the Sherman books?
Anybody who's been around armor for a little while might remember about 10 years ago, there was a book called Son of Sherman that came out, which is a pretty encyclopedic, anal rivet counting kind of book for Sherman lovers. Not that long ago, it got revised. And so I don't know whether you call this son-in-law of Sherman or grandson of Sherman, whatever it is. It's, I think it's 1,300 pages and 9 pounds of text.
Wow.
That details like just about every production variation that you might want to know about American built or Sherman's as built. So, if you've got one, great. If not, I think you're out of luck. The print run went, I think, like
It was
that.
No, it was just, so being an armor guy, and I talk a lot to the Yanks who they apparently are obsessed with the Sherman. That thing sold out in pre-order. Some guys are reselling it for stupid amounts. But you know, the hope is that there'll be a reprint. If you're interested in doing a Sherman, it's you know, the Sherman nerds are like, yeah, and the nickname was grandson of Sherman, was what some of them are calling it, because there's this book, Son of Sherman, which you can't get either. They just eat that up. It's a fantastic book. A lot of guys I know who just make Shermans and nothing but. Weird. They absolutely swear by it now. It was great that someone we knew got it. It's nice to see it and be able to have a look at it. So now we'll take 10 minutes. You can buy raffle tickets if you want.
There you go.
Otherwise, we're going to start 10 minutes after sharp with Ron the Cutter Tucker. Smoke break, Ron. Smoke break. Smoke break.
Yes. If you got them, Ron. I'm saying that. All I say is quit. All I say, once a month, that's all I tell you. I say quit. That's all. I don't budge. I just want to get a front picture of that gun.
I blew everything up back
But we'll give it to you after the demo.
Well, I'm gonna be leaving at about 20 after I go pick up my daughter.
Okay. Well, did you find a bird? Pardon? Did you find a bird? Oh, unfortunately. No, that's the only thing I found was. What the heck is it? It wasn't even a bird of prey. Oh, down to crow. A crow would be fine. Okay.
It's got legs, so that I can attach it to a branch and it looks like it's perched there. That'd be lovely.
Yeah, you can try that. But anyway, I got some, but I'll give them to you next time.
Okay.
'Cause I'm gonna use them in the demo.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, essentially like
Yes.
You doing the draw before the demo?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm a believer, that's all.
Yeah, I did. They're not the right bill. They're all 20 years. You only have to look at the computer.
Bunch of that's in my future too, probably, right? Homework?
I'll put all the paint up. Then I use the lights are on the end. Try something new every time. Every day, something different.
Can't even see the wire, that's all right. As long as you can see the wire, that's the important. As long as you can see the wire. It's all right. Ugh. Sorry.
I bought for this kid, not for you, like.
So it was a that Ferrari 1962 GTO 51.7. Yeah. The 330 LM 250 GTO.
Okay, so it was a track car.
Yeah. Yep.
As opposed to rolling car.
Yeah. I'm trying to get a better picture of it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it raced at Le Mans.
It's got a racing pedigree on it.
Yeah, yep. 1962, yeah, 51.7 million. Ever to sell it off.
Stuart, can you bring up that? So, yep, that for me, I just want to get one item on there. Just scroll down. Okay, hang on, go back. Not that guy, not that guy. Keep going down again. This guy here. Click on it, yeah. That's one of the first ones. Show. Oh, no, that's not it. Sorry. Go back again. Christ. Roll down a bit more. This guy right here. Yeah. Just have that ready.
Yeah, here you go. Yeah, we can switch back and forth.
Yeah. I made my own version of that.
Very good. Yeah.
Save myself $50 US or whatever.
51 million.
Price of it.
51 million, not bad.
Yeah, me.
So Bill, the previous owner, he had it for 40 years. Guy out of Ohio. Sold in 20 minutes and the bidding started at 34 million.
Does it R&M or?
Sotheby's,
R&M?
Sotheby's, whatever. Sorry?
R&M?
What, the auction?
Yeah, the auction.
No, Sotheby's. Oh,
Sotheby's?
yeah.
Yeah, Sotheby's R&M.
Yeah. Yeah, RM, yeah, yep, you're absolutely right. November
That's Rob
13th.
Myers.
Bill one, as they call it. That is nice. Get bed light, get bed. Got all the paperwork, chassis number, yeah. 40 years of single ownership. One has the means, so I highly recommend. And a garage. He mentioned insurance. Last call for tickets. Last call. If you guys need to be on president tonight, who knows what? Who would you talk to about?
Casting, that'll be Dave. The guy with glasses on top of the head.
Then we're gonna go to,
Yeah.
sorry. So there's four prizes. Four prizes. It's a blue ticket. Five.
Money?
Yeah.
And then for us.
Yeah. The prizes are, you got money and then 3 book collection. One's field gun, German field gun, one collection with 3 books on US Navy carrier units. One collection with 3 books on US Navy air colors and bombers and fighters. The sea condition and a cap donated by John from here. Naval 100th anniversary of 100th anniversary of Naval US Naval Aviation. So, okay.
Oh, did you?
First one, blue ticket, 242054. 242054. Yeah, $5, guys. Woohoo! Hey, you want your money back? Cam one. Cam, you want the money or you want it?
No, I want the money. I'll take the money and I want to do that.
Oh, okay.
All right, next. Got that one? Got all the, I'll mix it up again. Serious?
242-086. 242-086. Anyone? Okay, come on over.
Oh, right.
You didn't want anyone. Folks, would you like? Navy air color, US Navy carry units, or T? Copy that. Okay. All right, next number is 242-019. That's right.
Right here, right here, right here.
19, Ron.
Yes,
I know what Ron wants. He wants the big gun, right?
yes.
He wants the big gun. The BFGs, there you go.
Yeah, cool.
Next hot number will be 242-060. 060. Another Stu. Want to hang out with This number is 242-087. 087. Time. Anyone? 087. Mama's got a new pair of shoes. Let's go. Okay, next number will be it's another blue ticket, 242-078. 242-078. Anyone? 78. Book you on. They're both named. Take the fatter file. One's colors, one's. Last ticket hopefully is 242-002. 002. 002. Anyone? Your Majesty's calling. Yes. It's good year to be a block. You want the US Navy here as well? Yeah. Yeah. Sure.
All right, back to there.
Next one. All right, we're getting started now, so it's time for Ron the Cutter.
Everyone else shut up.
I gotta plug her off.
So
You gotta go to work, yeah.
Go to work.
You gotta go to work and go back.
Over the summer, and then
Guys,
get a
guys,
small stroke and bought himself this ridiculously awesome wire cutter. So now Ron's gonna give us a demonstration on the many uses after being queried by people for the obviously awesome houses he built. How do you cut things? Go ahead, Ron.
Okay, hey guys.
hang on, I gotta give Ron the mic. There you go.
Somewhere, here we go. Oh, perfect. Yeah.
Don't cut it too far.
No,
That wouldn't be good.
the blue light is on.
Blue light's on, yeah.
Anyway, this is a recent acquisition to my stable of tools. And the hot wire cutter made by a company called Hercules. When it's a clone of the Proxon hot wire cutter. With a few improvements over the Proxon one, namely being this stupid sliding rail that they have on the Proxon one doesn't have a locking screw to hold it in place. And as tools go, this thing is not very accurate to start out with. So a lot of guys, when they buy these to work on their wargaming stuff, they have to buy an aftermarket.
You share it?
To bring that up.
Second here.
And these are made by a company called Shifting Lands. And they have all kinds of different jigs and special tools to fit on the Proxon machine, but they will also fit on here. And one of the big critiques that the guys have is that this fence is a piece of poop. Because when you first get this thing, I had to put a shim under here so that it would sit flat on the table. Otherwise, it was doing this. And then when you tighten up the protractor part of this, it would pull this up out of the slot that it fits into. So I had to put a washer, make a washer and put under there. So that sorted that problem out with it, for that part. But most guys, they buy a new, oops, there goes the mic. They buy a new fence, which you just saw in that picture. I made my own just out of a few scraps of wood and things I had kicking around. And it also allows me to do taller styrofoam in here. And you just have to hold this in place. I'm gonna get some Velcro straps, strap it down. That's one of the shortcomings of this. There's no way of clamping anything to the table on this thing. So to buy one of these is about, I think it said they're about 50 bucks, somewhere around there, US. So that was a savings, just being able to make that for myself. And then the other attachment I made, I think there's probably about 30 bucks, is a circle cutting attachment for this thing, which would just go on here. And I have markings on here in centimeters for cutting different diameters of circles when I want to. And this is just a stop that I would set up to put on here. So then I would put my piece of foam on this pin, bring it in, spin it around, haul it back out. So that will show that. I'll get to the types of foam in a second.
So yeah, believe it or not, there is a wire there. People online
Yeah.
can't see it.
Yeah,
but it
the
is
wire
there.
is a nickel chromium wire. And it's 8 thou in diameter. So it's pretty teeny. It's in closer to.
That it, yeah? It's hard. Yeah. But doesn't it?
Yeah.
Tough to see, guys, but he is cutting. There you go. See it now. There we go. I got it there. I got a bit of it there. Again, we're videotaping this. Be on the website.
Yeah. Ron, have you cut your hand before?
No, I burnt it a couple of times, but it self-cauterizes, so that's okay.
Oh, God.
I actually told him, Kevin, you better not cut his finger off or we'll have to change the video.
Yeah, pass that around to the guys.
Looks perfect.
Yeah, so I can do any diameter I want on here. And if you loosen this mechanism off here, you can set this wire to a 45-degree angle or any angle in between. So you can make cones and things like that. Like say if I were doing some castles or something, you know, I can make like a conical roof in, you know, no time.
And you can slice the baguette.
Eh?
You can slice the baguette too.
Yeah, yeah.
And he's making
That
a
too.
castle. Yeah, Ron. Definitely.
So that's the use of that circle cutter. And then this bit here, instead of having to move this fence, you can also put over in this position to do cross cutting with. But where I make a lot of individual bricks, I wanted to be able to use this as a stop for the length of the brick that I want to make. So I can just put this on here, set this to whatever distance I need for the bricks, and just shoop, 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 shoop. Just chop them off like crazy. And speaking of how I do the bricks, piece of foam here.
Another piece of foam, please.
Yeah. speaking of foam, we have a couple of different kinds here. You can buy this at Home Depot in a 2 foot by 2 foot square piece for $9. So, and you make a lot of stuff out of it, a lot of buildings out of a 2 foot square piece of this stuff. And this has a density on it of like 20 pounds per square inch. So when you're trying to do like a lot of impression into it, it kind of bounces back a bit. But this new stuff that I found that I get at Lowe's, it's a 30 density. And it really, like, I mean, you can just barely touch it with your finger and it will dent it. But for us, that's quite useful. Won't get into that other. But anyway, how I go about,
have a part two.
yes. Well, how I go about doing this is to it's on here, and I can set that to, I'm just going to put it at 10 millimeters. Demo purposes.
The water. Yeah. It's so quiet.
Oh, it's really
It's dangerously
relaxing
quiet.
and peaceful. Yes.
Dangerously quiet.
Yeah, you can buy them if you're not too handy, but they're a bit dear. You spend like usually a couple of $100 doing making what I just made up. And so
Don't you have to be careful about the fumes that are created?
yeah, a little bit. You don't, but it doesn't really like smoke all that much. What I do if I'm doing a lot of work, I put a fan behind me and just kind of blow it away, or put it near your paint booth, have your paint booth on or whatever the case may be. Yes.
How long does the cutter last?
Pardon?
How long does it last?
Well, we have a spool of it here, right? I think they got about 5 meters on there.
Wow.
But I have another wire cutter at home that I homemade. And I was getting short on wire. So on eBay, I bought 10 meters of wire for $1.49, including shipping. How they make money off of that, I have no idea. Nickel chromium wire, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, right. Oh, wow, okay.
Don't tell him that, he'll get ideas.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, he'll want to do big cap.
And so then to get some texture on this, this is my texturing tool here for making it look like stone. Just a ball of foil rolled up, and you simply
Like Slapshot, he's going to the foil, boys, going to the foil.
just roll that all over the surface of this. And it gives you texture. And if you want to come up, I'll pass this around actually. Pass that around, you can see the texture that you get on there. And then it's simply a matter, you leave this at the same width here. I usually make clear brick. So just come in.
Those that don't cut the camera.
It looks like it's on laser.
I know. Freaking laser.
By the way, the suggestion was presenting, they were easy to.
Yeah, I saw that. I saw it.
So there we go. And I mean, you just keep cutting. Now, what I do with this to like you get kind of a square edge here that's no fun. Find my tool for that. Where the heck did that go? Nope, nope. Oh, just another little tool that I had, but I don't see it. I might have forgotten it. But anyway, what I do, I have basically a 45 or 90-degree angle. Then I put this piece in and do along. There's a pencil with a ball of foil wrapped around it to get the edges.
Very cool.
And you'll see that on the piece that I handed around. You do that. Yes. No. No, what's crazy when you do it with 5mm by 5mm by 10mm bricks, and you put 2,000 of them on a building.
Yeah, then he's crazy.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Just regular white glue. Yeah. Yeah, that works best. Yeah, just Elmer's glue, you know, like Wellbond. You know, I use Wellbond because that's a little bit better than some of the others. So then all you do with this now is we get
He's thrifty, thrifty,
yeah,
thrifty.
just good. I see that again? Anyway, I can do that. Never mind. I can do
Yeah,
it
that
with
one?
this.
Okay.
So normally what I do then is like stack up a whole bunch of these, like about 6 or 8 pieces. Right, just stack them
That way,
together,
yeah. There you go.
and then you just
We do look your building, safer in. To do the texture, then the brick line.
That sounds much fun.
well, yeah. I mean,
Getting the.
It's about paying, it's not about doing it.
well, there's about like you know, quite a few methods of doing this, and one that I've come up with that I really like doing is like what I've done on here, which they are strips of bricks rather than individual.
Right, okay.
Right? And so something like that, once you have all the strips, yeah, that's cheating, I know, yeah, but it keeps me from going totally insane, right? And so this here is the 3D printed door, like this is a Castle Keep in 1/35 scale. There'd be, you know, like the top up here with all the crenellations and everything on it once I get that done. But doing the strips of bricks really works out good for doing
Well,
this.
didn't you do something similar for your roof for the house?
Yeah,
You
and
use
how,
strips of
and
tile.
I have a jig for that and I forgot to bring it too. Sorry, guys.
Have to do a part
Yeah.
two.
Yeah, we'll do a part 2.
Pizza meal. Everyone will stay and watch.
Yeah, maybe February we'll do it.
You obviously don't do just scale.
Oh, yeah, no, like, I mean, this here is 1/72 scale, right? And that's done just with foam core board. And then all the wooden timbers that you see on there are actually just strips of foam. Right?
Have
And
you
so,
ever, have you ever done like a World War I paragon? Like a hanger?
no, not yet, no. But the method I wanted to show you guys tonight mostly, once you have a few slabs of this stuff cut, right, as you can see here, I've got a bunch of this stuff, right? And all of that is embossed into the foam. Like there's no separate wood, no separate brick or anything like that. The only thing that's separate is the resin window that I put in there. Right? And so how I do that is on here,
That's fantastic.
I have laid out what I want to grave in there. No, you gotta use all acrylic, yeah.
Or.
You won't ever make that mistake one.
Well, I did it, right? So I did a road. I talked to Ron, I did a road using the old pencil and foam. So one of my kits I brought in, but I was weathering it with enamels and then my cobbles had massive gaps. That still didn't with stuff. It's battle damage. But yeah, unless you do a really thick clear coat on it.
Yeah.
Like future, then you can protect it. Otherwise, yeah, stick with acrylic.
So
It melts.
it melts, yeah, it melts the foam, yeah.
It's like acid, it's like from the alien.
So, so anyway, all I do, like to get this effect on here, is I follow the lines that I've created on here, just with my scaffold blade.
I've actually told him he's giving this. I only did this with the demo. So I have a big one.
Yeah, that would be good, eh? Where am I?
So as you can see, this doesn't take too long to do. Oh, yeah, lots of guys on Etsy are doing that too.
The AK sells the mold. If you want to do it out of resin or epoxy, it's a game changer. Yeah. When Ron said he had a foam cutter, I just pictured the wand, right? Typical. Yeah.
No, that's what I made my,
Then he goes, no, I got this. I start looking at the price of these things.
When Ron does it, he does it right.
so that's all the cutting you have to do on here. Then what I do, I just take. Now I know I've got the wire brush. I do. Anyway, I just got a brass wire brush. And, but firstly, what we want to do, got this stick here with just sand glued onto the end. Kind of round it off a little bit. I go along.
Sand is glued on a white glue.
No, crazy glue. And I just impress next to those cut lines. And that, of course, lowers down that surface. Right? I do that all over. And then that also gives the texture that you want, like on the plaster, but there's no plaster on there. So then I go along and I use a ruler or a piece of cardboard or something for a bit of a math. And that's my wood grain,
Oh.
right?
Can't really get it, I'm afraid,
No,
guys.
it won't probably on there.
Yep.
And then,
With the wire
yep.
brush?
And then for my, for the bricks on the bottom, the foundation, I use it's an old paintbrush handle that I've taken whatever bristles were left out of there, and then formed it with a pair of pliers into a square or a brick shape or a stone block, and sharpened it a little bit. And all I do with that is, again, I texture down here with my foil. And then, yeah,
Well, actually, the last one cutter you built,
Yeah, so.
Yeah, I used one of the Woodland Scenic hot wire cutter, the one that has the handle, you know, just the U-shaped one. And I made a table.
He's
like that, like
decided
this.
to save himself build time.
And so then the bricks are just done with this tool here. Go along.
The degree of reality.
50.
Nice way.
50.
No, seriously, the Dutch have given him honorary citizenship.
Well, hey, have you seen the price of smokes these days?
Yeah.
Right, prior times.
So anyway, I just
Looks good.
go along like that. And then there's my.
Oops, I'm sorry.
Yeah, go ahead.
There we go.
Oh, wow. Okay, I can see that.
You see that now, Kevin?
I can see it perfectly. Thank you.
Yeah, that's the idea, what he's doing.
Wow. That is cool.
Yeah. Yep. And so I do that like lower this surface all over, wire brush the wood parts, you know, texture with the foil.
Yeah.
And then use this to do the individual bricks. And it, as you can see, you know, give me another 10 minutes and this would be done.
Yeah.
Right, ready to paint. Other than the window be cut out and you just cut that out with the scalpel.
And the guy could build an entire castle and not herniate himself carrying it around.
Yeah.
Well, one day we're gonna have to get a bigger room just when he actually finishes the castle.
Oh, you wait till you see
I
what's
know,
coming
I
down.
know. And you get your dragon, yeah. All right, we're almost done.
Yeah. And the other way of getting texture on things is with now that I have the 3D printer, you can get these texture rolls, right? And different bricks and stone, and they even have like the arch cobblestone
Green screen
patterns.
stuff
That's
world
the
carries
next
them
one.
if you don't want to make it out.
Yeah, and they work like really, really easy.
I know, he's
Like,
trying to think how to convince.
You can pass these around to show, that's done with the texture rollers.
Now he's trying to figure out how to convince Chantel.
Yeah, well, the texture roller,
I know.
you can sneak those really. They're not cheap, but I mean, I've already bought his printer from him. I'm going to be doing this, it's
You can
just.
print one.
we're gonna
Yeah,
just
and
wait
so
until after
that's
the
just as easy as just, all you do is,
And I guess the question, you know, are there STL files to, you know, print and build and stuff?
like this, yeah,
Yeah,
that's from
he
free
printed that.
STL.
The whole deal, like, you know.
Well, you can.
Oh, yeah,
something like
yeah.
that.
But the difference is, what he built.
Yeah.
Is gonna cost them 11 cents. And the other place, you're gonna have to go through $15 in resin and it's gonna weigh 6 times as much. So. pick it
Yeah.
up. It's like.
In a number of attempts.
There's the,
It's like
way
somebody
to
passed
pass
with
it
it and
around,
carrying
so
that
the
around,
guys here.
right?
All right.
3D
Him and I'm great.
Yeah.
3D print, like a hoop roller. Like,
Well, that, girl warrior there, that's 3D printed.
right, I'm thinking as in like maybe you probably have to get the file though, anything like automotive, like.
Yeah.
Like, for instance, thanks for the truck I brought.
Yeah, and there's all kinds of these that you can, you know, print for free, right?
All right, does anyone else have any questions before we wrap up?
We'll ask you some more questions on the next.
Sure.
No, Ron.
All right, thank you, sir.
Work,
I
okay?
think that's fantastic, Ron. Thank you.
Don't go to
Thanks,
Florida.
Ron.
Stay with us.
All right.
Like, I don't know if you know with the Iceman collection, all his 3D printing stuff,
Right,
stuff like that.
oh, yeah, okay, yeah, that should,
Well, I'm not
I know
saying
that.
I'm familiar with that guy, but
I
yeah.
like
Yeah.
you, good, but I don't know what he uses.
Okay,
All right.
I'll finish painting that up for you, Frank.
It's consistent. Thank
All right, thanks, guys. Kevin, I'm gonna stop the recording.
No problem. Thanks a lot, guys.
Yep, thanks again.
Nothing. I got this weird German techno machine gunner taking